All right, it's November 5th, and we have a lot to talk about. What an election last night. The Democrats swept pretty much everything. I didn't see any Republican win on anything. But Mamdani won. That was expected. Um, actually, let's do that first. So Mamdani wins um, America's mayor. Okay. So Mamdani won in a pretty much a landslide, but the thing is, people were saying that if Sliwa would have dropped out, it would have helped Cuomo. I don't think it would have really helped him that much. It would have been closer, but Sliwa only had like 7, 8, 9 percentage points, and Mamdani won by like 10, 11. So the young people voted for Mamdani, obviously, and you know, we'll see what happens now. We're gonna see what New York City is gonna do here. I mean, just 2 days ago, Mamdani was backtracking some of his statements, saying it's not going to be free, it's just going to be cheaper. So we'll see what happens there. Jay Jones wins despite homicidal psycho text. Yeah, Jay Jones literally said, I want my opponent killed and I want his children and wife to be killed as well. And people still voted for this guy. Same with Abigail Spanberger. She was asked directly, do you condemn this? She said no. She said no. So Podesta plan is playing out. The Democrats swept everything. Um, Virginia, New Jersey, and I think Prop 50 passed as well. So when Trump is not on the ballot, Republicans don't want to go vote. That's kind of the end statement here. But this was an off-year election, so this wasn't even really like a midterm. So I don't really take too much from this. I expect JD Vance to be the next president, assuming he's America first. You know, so this doesn't really mean anything. People are freaking out, but it's mainly just the margins. I mean, the margins are so big on the Democrat side. This was kind of to be expected. I really didn't expect any Republicans to win. Yeah, so hopefully we do better on the midterms because that'll kind of give us a preview of the next election, which would be the presidential election in 28. So, yeah, Mamdani wins, and a lot of people are going to leave New York now. All that tax revenue that he's betting on is leaving, so he's going to have a whole new economic plan, probably. But and you know what's funny? I think Mamdani's gonna be like the future of the Democratic Party. I think he will run for president at some point, just because he's so popular on the Democrat side, and there's literally nobody else. I mean, nobody else is as popular as Mamdani when it comes to the Democrats. Even AOC, people are turned off by her. Um, and the thing is if AOC ran for president, the DNC wouldn't even allow her for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know why, because obviously Democrats like her, but they love Mamdani, so they might try to position him for a presidential run later on. But sweep by the Democrats, and that's to be expected. So the first story today, the news won't probably talk about this, I don't know, but the Sudan has shot down a Russian military transport plane. And here's some photos right here. Um, yeah, Sudan's kind of a crazy place. It was a transport plane. It looks like I don't know where it was going. It was probably going to Ukraine um, or Venezuela. I don't know. But the Rapid Support Forces claimed responsibility. They said everyone was killed, but however, they also said that it was an error. So it's like, which is it? Did he do it on purpose or not? I guess they haven't figured it out yet. But a lot of people are saying that they're trying to drag Russia into another conflict, which would make sense because the deep state in the United States and the Zionists, they absolutely hate Russia, even though they have a pretty good relationship with Israel. But, any time to make Russia look bad, I mean, This was probably done on purpose, is what I'm saying. I don't really believe it was an error. So, yeah, huge situation. We'll see how Russia responds. If they respond, I mean, their plane got shot down by Sudan. So, knowing Russia, they would probably going to respond with something. They have to be careful though because they obviously don't want to get in a conflict. They're already dealing with Ukraine. But just more fun war. Everyone loves war. Yay. Yay. New U.S. nuclear cruise missile seen under wing of B-52. So this is really interesting, guys, because usually when the U.S. is sending nukes or cruise missiles, they don't tell anybody, they hide it. But this was over California. This was over Owens Valley in California with two unknown missiles under its wing. Here's another picture. So imagine you're just outside and you see this plane come by with these are nuclear capable missiles. Um, yeah, so it doesn't we don't know where it's going. It's probably just a test run. They're probably just testing the plane, how it flies with the nukes on them. I hope these aren't like nukes that are ready to go because if something happens, like what if this nuke dropped? Like I don't know. But the cost of one is estimated $14 million. And these are the first real images of new American nuclear weapon. Um, so just interesting. I don't know if the news will talk about this, but the U.S. is looks like they're doing some tests. I mean, Trump already said he's going to do some nuclear tests. He just hasn't said when yet. So this is probably just a pre-test to make sure everything's working. But yeah, I don't really like the fact that U.S. aircraft is flying over California with nuclear capable missiles on it. I mean, obviously, they don't want you to know this. They probably didn't expect people to take photos. Kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. But yeah, so we'll see if we see the same plane do the same test that Trump was talking about. But, just not something you want to see. Wake up, go for a nice morning walk, and you see U.S. aircraft with nuclear missiles on it. So yeah, just great. But I just wanted to show you because that was super interesting. I don't know if the news will even show you this. And then Ukrainians are deserting the army by thousands, pledging to kill Zelensky and overthrow government. So Ukraine's in a very tough situation because right now Ukraine, there's the two main cities are being encircled by Russian forces right now. We talked about that a couple days ago. I even showed you the pictures. Um, And even back then, just a couple days ago, they were saying that a lot of these Ukrainian troops were trying to surrender and trying to escape, and they were literally being shot in the head by Ukrainian generals and superiors for desertion, right? So Russia is moving in. They're moving into that one main city. They haven't done the other city yet, but it won't be long. So many deserters flee the armed forces of Ukraine not only with weapons but already in armored vehicles. And in the section of the front where the interviewed man fought, about 4,000 went AWOL in 1 month, and almost all of them talk of returning to Kiev to take revenge on the Ukrainian authorities. Yeah, so this is something that probably should have been done at the beginning of the war because now Ukraine doesn't have many troops. I mean, honestly, I think Ukraine should have done a military coup during the war when they had more forces because, I don't know how you're going to take out Zelensky now when there's not many of you left. But we'll see if they try. If they do try to do a coup, it'll be super interesting. The news will be all over it, and they'll say how poor Zelensky, what a victim. Yeah, the Ukrainian forces should have taken out Zelensky at the beginning of the war. There's just no way Ukraine's gonna win. But we'll see what they do here. I mean, I don't even think they're gonna be able to do this because, like I said, they're literally surrounded by Russia. There's no escape. I mean, Russia would have to give them permission to go back to Kiev and take out Zelensky, which I don't even think they would want because they're making so much progress. So We'll see if Ukraine does a coup. I mean, there's not many soldiers left, so I don't know how successful it would be, but yeah. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, uh, Ukraine doesn't look like it's going to be a country anymore. It's going to be Russian territory, so they have to do it like right now. So we'll see. But just wanted to show you the beautifulness in Ukraine is still going on, and it looks like now the Ukrainian troops are turning on Zelensky. You know, they should have done this a long time ago. This is an unwinnable war. And yeah. So we'll see if they actually do the coup. And then just some more fun stuff. Allah Akbar, automobile attack injures 10 on French island. So the news won't talk about this. So this is why I'm just kind of showing you. Basically, there was a terrorist attack um, in France, and some guy was driving a car and screaming Allahu Akbar, the usual, and he was ramming people, and I guess he killed 10 or injured 10. Um, of course, this guy isn't a citizen, so why is he in the country in the first place? Yeah. Currently, the case is not being investigated as terrorism case. See, they always do this. Only as attempted murder. Yeah, that's ridiculous. The 35-year-old man lived in a fishing village on the island. The authorities already knew the man, who had previously been convicted several times for public offenses and alcohol and drug use. So just wonderful immigration policies that Europe has, that importing these people, and this guy was arrested before, I guess, and they let him go. So mass migration has to stop. This will only continue. Um, I don't need to tell you this. I mean, this is common sense. So, but I just want to show you this because I don't think the news will show you. And if the news does show you this, they're going to say it wasn't terrorism. We don't know what the motive was, even though he's literally screaming Allahu Akbar. So that's why I'm here, just to show you because this is ridiculous. So yeah, France is done. France used to be a beautiful country, supposedly. And then this was an interesting article. So we all know about the elections yesterday. Um, the Democrats won easily. But it looks like Trump is drafting executive order on election integrity after alleging ballot fraud in California. So there's always ballot fraud in California, which is kind of funny because they don't need to do that to win their elections. But look, I think Prop 50 was going to pass with or without fraud. So I don't know why there was some fraud. I mean, it looks like there was some fraud. And like I've said before, I do think Trump is going to issue paper ballots before the next presidential election, which is in a few years. Because the presidential election is the one that the Democrats really do some um, tomfoolery, you could say. And again, I do think Vance is going to win easily, especially if it's against someone like Gavin Newsom. Like, please, Newsom, please run because that'll be the easiest victory ever. Easier than Kamala. So, yeah, we'll see what this executive order actually turns out to be. We won't know until it's signed and we see the results, but I do expect that Trump will issue paper ballots for the presidential election in 2028, which means it'll be at 100% accuracy and it won't take 4 or 5 days, or in some cases 5 years in Georgia to determine who wins. So, yeah, we'll see what this turns out to be. Nothing's promised, but it sounds good so far. I hope Trump actually does this because no matter who wins the next election, there's going to be talk about fraud. When JD Vance wins, the Democrats will say he cheated. Um, if somehow Newsom won, then they definitely cheated. But yeah, that's still a few years away, so we're going to see. We'll just wait and see what happens. And then let's just look over some headlines here. Communist lunatic wins race to lead America's largest city. Yeah, this non-citizen socialist won New York. So Yeah, we all know what's going to happen. New York's going to get worse, and the Democrats are going to put him in position to run for president eventually, I'm sure. And then Alex Soros posts photo with Mamdani. Oh, great. Alex Soros. He's done nothing wrong in his whole life. And his dad, oh, wonderful people. Wow. So when you see Alex Soros with Mamdani, you pretty much know that they're working together, and Soros is definitely infiltrating his campaign. So Mamdani didn't win, Soros won. Mamdani's going to do everything Soros tells him to do. So isn't that great? Two men arrested in connection with Halloween terror plot investigation. Yeah, just great. More terror attacks being planted. JD Vance, we have to do better at turning out voters. Well, yeah, I mean, the Democrats won in a landslide. But the problem is Trump's not on the ballot, so there's less incentive for Republicans to go out and vote, which is why JD Vance needs to be America first all the time. 100%. You got to sound like 2015 Trump because otherwise people aren't going to show up. It's the same thing. Bernie Sanders, Dems have to take Mamdani's message all over this country. Exactly. So the Democrats are going to put this guy in position as the leader of the Democrat Party and probably have him run for president eventually. Trump cites pollsters saying government shutdown, president not on ballot were reasons GOP lost. Yeah, well, I just said that. Um, and again, Trump just won the presidential election, so the Democrat base was more energized. They were more willing to vote because now they have to take revenge on Trump and all this. So, but yeah, Trump wasn't on the ballot, so it's harder to get Republicans to vote when Trump is like the only person they're willing to vote for. Redistricting war escalates as California voters back Democrat map. Yeah, we'll see what the map's going to look like. It's going to be all blue, I'm sure. But that's kind of the case anyway. I mean, when Trump's results in California were way better than expected. But that was 9 months ago. I'm sure a lot of people have moved out of California since then, including myself. So it's like, what's it going to look like? Criminal illegal aliens abusing Medicaid exposed by a new White House website. Yeah, so the White House put out on their website a full list of a lot of illegal aliens and what they were arrested for. And it's not good. We're not talking jaywalking here. These people were the worst of the worst. And they're still getting them. There's still millions of these illegals here. Jack Smith got a hold of Trump's phone in Arctic Foss probe. Yeah, just totally illegal. I mean, Pam Bondi's not going to do anything about this. So Jack Smith can get his phone again, and Pam Bondi's going to just look the other way. GOP senators introduced legislation to codify Antifa as terror designation. I thought it already was, but I guess they have to do it again. So, Alex Soros, who just won the New York mayoral election with his talking piece Mamdani, yeah, they're probably hiding some records right now. Pelosi won't be handpicking any successor. Yeah, Pelosi is retiring. Unless she dies first, there's a good possibility she might just drop and die, which would be fine, honestly. But, so we'll see who's going to replace her. I don't know how that works. I don't know if they have a vote or like there's a chain of command. I don't know, but it's a good thing she won't be handpicking because whoever she picked would have been terrible. Democrats claim some federal workers want to suffer through shutdown to get at Trump. Yeah, I'm sure that's actually true because these people are just insane. The people with TDS are insane, and I'm talking like real TDS because there's some legitimate criticism of Trump, especially with his ties to foreign countries. But like, this is insane. Yeah. Republicans' position to keep the House majority in 2026 targets Democrats as socialists. Oh, yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Republicans have to show out and vote for that to happen. U.S. drafts UN resolution to end sanctions on Syria's president. Yeah, so here we go. I mean, the leader of Syria, the leader of Al Qaeda, literally killed 10,000 Christians by himself. And now we're going to end sanctions on this because apparently he's a good person now. Yeah, the whole Syria situation is ridiculous. Um, we should have never toppled Assad, but we're in a situation now where the Syrian president is not a good guy. However, we don't want regime change. We don't want to do this all over again. Um, so it just is what it is. And by the way, the Syrian president's visiting the White House this month, I believe, in the beginning of this month. So any day now. White House ordered to provide sign language interpreters for press briefings. Okay. Chester County, Pennsylvania poll books missing names of 75,000 voters on election day. Error. Sure, it was an error. See, this is why we need paper ballots for all elections. Otherwise, you're going to see this nonsense all the time. Radical leftist groups perpetuate homeless crisis for their own benefit. Yeah, we talked about this. Elon Musk talked about this, especially when he was on Joe Rogan. A lot of these companies actually get more money when there's more homeless. So it's in their best interest to keep the homeless the same or make more homeless because then they get more emergency funding, which they just put right in their pocket. Antifa-friendly Portland bookstore lays off more employees. Okay, what a shocker. Air traffic controllers union chief blasts Schumer for playing politics with nation safety. Yeah, well, that's an understatement. I mean, a lot of these CEOs. I mean, here's the air traffic controller union chief telling Schumer to open the government, but a lot of CEOs of these airlines who were in favor of Democrats they're having press conferences telling the Democrats to open the government. So their own voters are telling them to do this, and they're still not. Denny's restaurant chain to go private in $620 million deal. Oh, interesting. I guess Denny's is going private now. I don't know if that's good or bad, because Denny's is, it's okay, you know. Um, but it's very popular, so we'll see if the quality changes. I'll have to go check it out. Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine sales drop after CDC narrows guideline. Well, yeah, are people still trying to get this vaccine? I mean, even if the CDC didn't drop its guidelines thanks to RFK, like, would people still be trying to get this? That's kind of scary. California is set to spend 28 times more on health benefits for illegal aliens than state police funding. I saw this. I didn't know if it was true. It is true. California is spending 28 times more on health benefits for illegal aliens than they are for the whole police funding, which police funding takes a lot of money because, you know, they got to get paid, they got to get trained, they have equipment that breaks down all the time, and it costs billions of dollars. So California is going to spend 28 times more than that on health benefits for illegal aliens, not even citizens. What a waste of resources. This is why I want Newsom to run for president, because only people in California don't care about this. The whole rest of the country can see this and they're like, what a retard this Newsom guy is. So, yeah, Newsom, please run. You'll be easier than Kamala. Elon Musk's future at Tesla in balance as shareholders consider $1 trillion pay package. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, there's been talk about Musk leaving Tesla. I just don't really believe it. Musk has Tesla's his pride and joy. Like, this is his thing. He cares more about Tesla than X, and in my opinion. Wall Street heading out of New York City as socialist Mamdani wins. Yeah, that sounds nice, but you know, Wall Street is half their tax revenue that Mamdani is going to use for free this, free that. So when those people leave and Mamdani looks at the bank and the bank says $0, how's he going to pay for all this free stuff? I don't know. And Trump isn't going to bail him out. Trump's not going to give him federal funding. So, yeah, we'll see. That's about it that happened today. The main stuff was the election results. I mean, Republicans did not turn out at all. So we'll see if that continues into the midterm, because if that happens in the midterm, then it's worth being concerned about. But off year election, I don't really, there's no need to panic about anything. Everyone who won is who we expected to win. So yeah, hopefully Republicans can turn out in the midterms. And then we'll see what happens with that downed Russian plane in Sudan. I mean, remember, the US has a lot of hands in Sudan. I mean, we literally caused that civil war on purpose. So we probably still have people there somewhere. And we'll see if Russia responds militarily. I mean, Russia doesn't want any conflict with anyone. Um, so we'll see if Russia even does anything. But one of their planes got shot down and their crew died. So I'm sure they have to respond. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And, we'll see what happens in New York City. Um, we'll see. And only time will tell, because once people leave New York, then Mamdani's economic plan will really be put in question. And we won't know what he does until then. So, just a wonderful day in the world. Just war, nuclear cruise missiles flying over the homeland, you know, coup in Ukraine. Just a lot of nonsense. And nothing's happened with Venezuela yet. Not that I've seen. So we're still waiting. Our ships are still there. I think the blimp is still there. Our 10,000 soldiers are still there. And we'll see what happens in Nigeria. Again, the United States citizens don't want any conflict in any foreign land ever again. I mean, my goodness, we're done. Unless someone tries to invade us or they try to take over the world, we're done. We're not going to go fight wars for other countries. Um, just because we're done. That era is over. Dick Cheney's dead. It's a new era. So the young white Christian men of this country will not go fight another war for another country that has a different belief system, that worships a different God and worships a different Messiah. We're not doing that anymore. So we're done. We're going to focus on the US. But other than that little rant, that's really it. If anything crazy happens, I'll let you know. But until then, have a great day.